Hey, Charlie here from GuitarMasteryMethod.com, and today I'm going to go over the basics of sweep picking for you. Now we're going to focus on 3-string sweeps. Now obviously we've got 4-string sweeps, 5-string sweeps, and 6-string sweeps as well, but it's really imperative that you get 3-string sweeps under your belt before you start tackling those. So I'm going to teach you 4 patterns that basically comprise of that lick I've just played, and then you can feel free to move them around to wherever you like. Learn them in this first position, and then once you've got them, you can feel free to explore and experiment as you please. All right, so let's get into it. The first pattern looks like this. And that's it. Okay, so we've got our 3rd finger here, middle finger here, and 1st finger here. So this is the 14th fret with your 3rd finger on the G string, the 13th fret with your middle finger on the B string, and your 1st finger on the 12th fret of the high E string. And we play those through, and then the pinky comes up here on the 17th fret and does a pull off, and then your middle finger here on the 13th fret. All right, now obviously the key part of sweep picking is in the name, and that is what you're doing with your guitar pick. All right, and then so it is just this sweeping motion. All right, now so you'll see that when I started off, I start with a downstroke. Okay, and then that downstroke goes all the way through to the high E string, where I put my pinky onto the 17th fret. There I do an upstroke and pull off. Obviously I don't need to pick the pulled off note. And then I do an upstroke on the B string, and then I'm also now, so that's the pattern complete, but to start it off again, because I'm already there, I'm going to do an upstroke on the G as well. Then I need to flip the pick around and then start sweeping the other way. So slowly play through that pattern and only watch what my picking hand is doing. Now notice that I didn't keep all these fingers down while I did this, or else it would sound like this. We don't want that. We want what is called a single note polyphony, one note at a time. All right, so practice that until you have it down. All right, so just that one pattern. I mean, feel free to move it around. You can move it down to here. It's obviously a very good one to be practicing to get a big stretch as well. If you're having trouble with the stretch, you can even move it up higher. Okay, but once you do have that pattern down, then play it through 4 times, and then we move on to the next pattern. Okay, now changing between the patterns is the hardest part, okay, along with getting the picking, okay, because in 2 of the changes here, we're going to be using the same finger on different strings, so we have to make quite a jump. Now, with the sweep picking, it's very easy to just kind of revert back to the old ways of doing it, especially while you're playing it slow. You think, right, when I speed it up, I'll be doing sweep picking, but no, if you're playing it like this, you'll notice how my picking hand is making a movement for each note. We don't want that, we want this. See how my hand's just slowly gliding across the strings. Now to give you a longer example, if I was to, for instance, play this scale pattern here slowly, it's a 6-string one, you'll see the apart from 2 notes I have to play on 1 string, how the pick glides across all the strings. So that allows me to be able to play it fast and it sound really awesome. Okay, you can see how this pick is just gliding across the strings. Now, one thing that can help you with this is to think that after you've played a note, you need the pick to be resting on the next string, being ready to being dragged over. Alright, that second pattern. We're going to start here with our middle finger on the 11th fret of the G, and then the first finger is going to play 10 and 10. And then the pinky comes here, does the pull off on the 14th fret back to the 10. And we have 10 here again. Now the difficult part in this particular pattern is to do with this finger here. We have to roll it. Now if you're not familiar with the term rolling, basically we play this note here and then we roll the finger so it's playing this note and it's no longer going to let the B string make any noise. Alright, so if you put all your fingers down for the shape, it can really help etch it into your own mind. So far, we have 4 in this shape, and then 4 in this shape. And remember that how I just said, changing between the patterns can be quite often the hardest part. This ends right here, and then the next one starts here. So notice how we have to go like this. So you might even just want to sit there practicing that, getting that change nice and smooth before trying to play it at any kind of speed. Now, with anything like this, as Eddie Van Halen says, the secret to playing something fast is to play it slow 1,000 times. So literally do that, because otherwise you're not going to be having nice clean sweep picking, and there's no use in doing sweep picking unless it's clean and sounding beautiful, or else it's going to sound horrible. And there's plenty of guitarists out there who think they're sweep picking, but quite often they're not playing notes. They're basically just raking across the strings. So it does take a bit of time. This is one of those techniques that there is really no shortcut. You just have to put in the hard yards, but it is totally worth it when we can play something that sounds awesome, just using the arpeggios and the sweep picking. So 4 in this pattern, jumping to this pattern here. Okay, and then here's another one of those jumps. First finger here is going to jump down to the 7th fret, like this, alright? And then this shape looks like this. So the first finger is going to walk like that. And then your pinky comes here on the 10th fret, so this is 7th fret on the G, 8th fret on the B, and then 7th fret on the high E, coming into the 10th fret with the pinky finger, pulling off and then closing up the pattern with the middle finger on the 8th fret. Okay, so the 3 patterns we have so far. So we have just one more pattern that we need to complete this sweep picking lick. And what we're going to do is have our first finger here on the 9th fret of the G string, and then the middle finger here is going to play the 10th fret, and then the first finger is going to walk all the way back to the 8th. And pinky here on the 12th fret for the pull off, and middle finger back on the 10th to finish it off. All right, now so far we've played 4 times through each of the patterns, right? And we're going to do the exact same thing here, but on the last one, we're going to shift it up 2 frets, and that'll help tie it back into the first pattern again. So we play that through there 3 times. And then we're going to shift up 2 frets, so then now it's 11th fret, 12th fret, 10th fret, and the 14th fret. And we're going to play that through once, all right? So here 3 times, here once. All right, and back to the start. So through the whole thing, nice and slowly. Key things to remember. Take it very slowly to start with, and just remember this is sweep picking. We're talking all about what this hand is doing, all right? So if you still haven't got that technique completely down, watch through this video again, okay? And just pay attention to what my right hand is doing. If you feel like you're not quite getting it, don't worry, you're completely normal. Everybody feels that way when they first start sweep picking, okay? It is a tricky technique. If you look at the likes of Yngwie Malmsteen, who has absolutely mastered the technique and just plays absolutely phenomenal guitar solos with it, or Jason Becker, or check out Serrano Arpeggios by Jason Becker. It's just absolutely incredible. So it's definitely a technique that it is worth putting in those hard yards, because it does sound awesome at the end of the day. So stick to it, practice those 4 patterns, feel free to move them around, change them up. You don't have to use them in the exact same order that I have given you, but you will find a link to a PDF download with a tab of that if you would like it in the description box below. Now below in the description box you'll also find a link to my website where I have a free gift for you over at my website on guitarmastermethod.com, and that link will take you directly to the page where you can grab it. So I hope you enjoyed going through this lesson as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Sweep picking is absolutely awesome, and if you have had trouble with this lesson, good, because that means that you've actually tried it. And if you've flown through this lesson, then I don't know what to tell you, because it took me ages to get sweep picking, so damn you. But I'm sure that you'll have at least a little bit of challenge, at least switching between those patterns. So thanks again. This is Charlie from guitarmastermethod.com.